Chapter 1, The Best Christmas Present in the World. Comprehension check, page number 10. Question 1. What did the author find in a junk shop? Answer 1. The author found a 19th century old roll-top desk in a junk shop, which was made of oak. It was in a very bad state. The roll-top was broken into pieces. One of its legs was not repaired properly, and the other side had burn marks. Question 2. What did he find in a secret drawer? Who do you think had put it in there? Answer 2. The author found a small tin box in the secret drawer of a roll-top desk. A piece of lined notepaper was cellotaped to its top. It had Jim's last letter received January 25th, 1915 to be concealed with me when the time comes written on it. Probably it was put there by Mrs. Jim Macpherson, who was Jim's wife. She had written her name and address on the envelope inside the box. Comprehension check. Page number 14. 1. Who had written the letter to whom and when? Answer 1. Jim Macpherson had written the letter to his wife Connie Macpherson on December 26, 1914. 2. Why was the letter written? What was the wonderful thing that happened? Answer 2. Jim wrote the letter to tell his wife that a wonderful thing that happened on Christmas Day. The British and the Germans were engulfed in a war. Yet on this day, both the troops met in no man's land. It was a wonderful thing because in spite of a war going on, the warring soldiers were trying to make peace. 3. What jobs did Hans Wolff and Jim Macpherson have when they were not soldiers? Answer 3. Hans Wolff was from Dusseldorf. He played the cello in the orchestra. Jim Macpherson was a school teacher from Dorset. Hans Wolff's knowledge of Dorset. Question 4. Had Hans Wolff even been to Dorset? Why did he say he knew it? Answer 4. No, Hans Wolff had never been to Dorset. He had gathered knowledge about England from school and also from reading books in English. Jim Macpherson's fate. Question 5. Do you think Jim Macpherson came back from the war? How do you know this? Answer 5. No. It is most likely that Jim Macpherson did not come back from the war. The cello-taped notepaper mentioned that the letter was his last letter. His wife did not receive more letters from him. It was evident that Jim Macpherson had died. This happened in the earlier part of the World War I, in which the Germans were triumphant, which implies the defeat of the British and the death of Jim Macpherson. Comprehension check, page now 115. Question 1. Why did the author go to Bridport? Answer 1. The author went to Bridport because it was the place where Mrs. Macpherson used to live. The address on the letter read Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport and Dorset. He wanted to give that letter back to her. Mrs. Macpherson's current situation. Question 2. How old was Mrs. Macpherson now? Where was she? Answer 2. Mrs. Macpherson was 101-year-old. She was in a nursing home in Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of town. Comprehension check. Page number 16. Question 1. Who did Connie Macpherson think her visitor was? Answer 1. Connie Macpherson thought that her visitor was her husband Jim. Question 2. Which sentence in the text shows that the visitor did not try to hide his identity? Answer 2. The sentence which shows that the visitor did not try to hide his identity is I explained about the desk, about how I had found it, but I don't think she was listening. Working with text. Exploring questions and answers about literature and human connections through the power of written words. Question 1. For how long do you think Connie had kept Jim's letter? Give reasons for your answers. Question 2. Why do you think the desk had been sold and when? Answer 2. When the house in which Connie Macpherson lived had caught fire, the desk must have been sold, after which she was taken to a nursing home. All the burnt up things must have been sold after that. Question 3. Why do Jim and Hans think that games or sports are good ways of resolving conflicts? Do you agree? Answer 3. Jim and Hans thought that getting involved in games or sports is a good way of ending conflicts because nobody dies in the matches, no children are orphaned, and no wives become widows, and no one suffers as there is no loss of life and property. Yes, we agree that conflicts can be resolved in ways suggested by Jim and Hans because wars are always harmful and never benefiting. Wars are the reason of deaths, devastation, and wreckage. Question 4. Do you think the soldiers of the two armies are like each other or different from each other? Find evidence from the story to support your answer. Answer 4. The soldiers of the both armies were like each other. Below are some instances from the story to prove both the armies celebrated Christmas. Both armies shared their food and spent time together in smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, and eating. They played a football match and agreed that conflicts and disputes can be resolved by a football match. They agreed on the termination of wars and about their negative aspects. They exchanged carols and hoped to meet with the families again. Question 5. Mention the various ways in which the British and the German soldiers become friends and find things in common at Christmas. Sharing food and festivities. The British and the German troops celebrated Christmas with each other. They enjoyed each other's food and spent time together in smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, and eating. Literary connections. Hans and James shared the cake Connie had baked. They talked about Bathsheba, Gabriel Oak, Sergeant Troy, and Dorset. Both of them liked books and talked about it. Sports and music. Both the troops played a game of football for which both Hans and James cheered and clapped. They also exchanged carols at night. Answer 5. In this way, they celebrated Christmas together, finding a lot in common between them. Question 6. What is Connie's Christmas present? Why is it the best Christmas present in the world? Answer 6. Connie mistook the narrator for her husband Jim when he came to see Connie and gave her the box. She thought that Jim had come home for Christmas to meet her. This was Connie's best Christmas present in the world because Jim had written in the letter that he would visit home on Christmas. She read that letter several times every day to feel that he was near her. She was extremely happy with all this. Question 7. Do you think the title of this story is suitable for it? Can you think of any other titles? Answer 7. Yes, the title of the story is suitable. The story is based on the spirit of Christmas. The story gives us a strong message that peace and goodwill to all is brought by celebrating Christmas. It was on a Christmas day, in the middle of a war, that the two warring troops made peace, and the moment of peace that the soldiers shared was the best Christmas present for them. Again, it was on a Christmas day that the narrator went to see Mrs. Macpherson. He went to return her husband's letters to her. The letter was the most precious gift she could receive on Christmas, but her delusion that the narrator was her husband Jim and he had returned as promised on a Christmas day was even more heart-touching. Working with language. Question 1. I. Read the passage below and underline the verbs in the past tense. A man got on the train and sat down. The compartment was empty except for one lady. She took her gloves off. A few hours later, the police arrested the man. They held him for 24 hours and then freed him. Answer. I. Complete story. Answer I. A man got on the train and sat down. The compartment was empty except for one lady. She took her gloves off. A few hours later, the police arrested the man. They held him for 24 hours and then freed him. Exercise 2. Fill in the blanks. You fill in the blanks using the correct form of the verbs in brackets. My little sister is very naughty. When she Passer come back from school yesterday, she had Fusser tear her dress. We Passer asked her how it had Fusser happen. She Passer says she Passer have quarrel with a boy. She Passer have beat him in a race, and he Passer have tried to push her. She Passer have tell the teacher, and so he Passer have chased her, and she Passer have fall down and Passer have tear her dress. Answer 2. Completed exercise. Answer 2. My little sister is very naughty. When she came back from school yesterday, she had torn her dress. We asked her how it had happened. She said, say, she had half quarreled with a boy. She had half beat him in a race, and he had tried to push her. She had half told the teacher, and so he had chased her, and she had fallen down, and had torn her dress. Underline the verbs and arrange them in 2 columns. Past and earlier past. A comprehensive study guide covering past perfect tense usage, phrasal verb identification, noun phrase structure, and descriptive adjective application in English language learning. Past. Underline the verbs and arrange them in 2 columns. Past and earlier past. Answer 3. A. My friends set out to see the caves in the next town. but I stayed at home because I had seen them already. B. When they arrived at the station, their train had left. They came back home, but by that time I had gone out to see a movie. So they sat outside and ate the lunch I had packed for them. By the time I returned, they had fallen asleep. Past, set out, arrived, came, sat, returned. Earlier past, had seen, had left, had gone, had packed, had fallen. Phrasal verbs in context. Question 2. Find these phrasal verbs in the story. Burn out, light up, look on, run out, keep out. Write down the sentences in which they occur. Consult a dictionary and write down the meaning that you think matches the meaning of the phrasal verb in the sentence. Burn out. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell. The roof gaping, the windows boarded up. Light up. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. Look on. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. Run out. The time came, and all too soon, when the game was finished, the schnapps and the rum and the sausage had long since run out, and we knew it was all over. Keep out. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. Answer 2. I. Burn out. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burned out shell. The roof gaping, the windows boarded up. 2. Light up. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. I. Look on. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. 4. Run out. The time came, and all too soon when the game was finished, the schnapps and the rum and the sausage had long since run out, and we knew it was all over. Fee. Keep out. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. Noun phrases and adjective order. Question 3. Noun phrase. Read the following sentence. I took out a small black tin box. The phrase in italics is a noun phrase. It has the noun box as the head word and 3 adjectives preceding it. Notice the order in which the adjectives occur. Size, small, color, black, and material, tin, of which it is made. We rarely use more than 4 adjectives before a noun, and there is no rigid order in which they are used, though there is a preferred order of modifiers, adjectives in a noun phrase as given below. Determiner, a, and. The modifier 1, opinion, feeling, nice, lazy, beautiful. Modifier 2, size, shape, age, tall, round, old, young. Modifier 3, color, red, white, light, dark. Modifier 4, material, silk, cotton, woolen, headword. Woman, swan, man, table, chair. Answer 3. 2. Under the guidance of subject teacher. Question 4. The table below contains a list of nouns and some adjectives. Use as many adjectives as you can to describe each noun. You might come up with some funny descriptions. Noun elephant adjectives: enormous, cheerful, wild, large, medium-sized. Noun face: adjective round, cheerful, chubby. Noun building adjective: multicolored, blue, red, large, medium-sized. Noun water adjective: blue, coke,